everybody. Welcome to the Pop Culture News here on The Experience. We've got quite a bit of news today, so we're going to jump right in. If you were looking online yesterday, you saw the release of the new Venom trailer. And I don't really have any more news about that other than it's Venom: The Last Dance, and it's supposed to be the last Tom Hardy Venom movie. Now, what that really means, we won't know, but from everything that I'm seeing about it online, the big response is they venomized a horse and they think it's pretty cool. So check that out. It's over on YouTube or any other place that you watch your videos. You can probably see it in your feeds on social media. Another trailer came out over the weekend, and along with it was the premiere date release of Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft. Now, this is a video game this is a animated series picking up after the video game trilogy that ended with The Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And it'll show the heroine traveling kind of around the globe like she does, but she's abandoned her friends and embarked on a series of more and more dangerous missions, like she's trying to hurt herself, but must return when a dangerous and powerful Chinese artifact is stolen from Croft Manor. That's why you don't keep them there. You give them to the collector. That's what Odin taught us. Laura is being voiced by Haley Atwell, of course, Peggy Carter from the MCU, and will be joined by Alan Maldonado as Zip, and Earl Balin will be reprising his role from the video games as Jonah Maev. Now, while the character has appeared in video games, movies, and comics, this will actually be her first animated series. And I figured this would be the perfect character for animation, so it's kind of surprising to me we haven't gotten an animated version of her before. Shifting over to Warner Brothers, reports are saying that Warner Brothers TV is in the very early stages of development for a TV series based on the 2006 film, The 300. Now, the original adaptation was, of course, by Zack Snyder, but it was based on the 98 comic book series of Frank Miller and Lynn Varley. You know, you can't just say 98 anymore. You have to say 1998. The 1998 comic book series by Miller and Varley, and featured a fictionalized version of the Battle of Thermopylae. That's a tough word. During the Greco-Persian War. Now, this pitted King Leonidas, which was Gerard Butler, and 300 Spartans against the god king Xerxes, played by Rodrigo Santoro, and his army of about 300,000. This was the film that really got people to pay attention to Zack Snyder. The film work, the graphic, or just the way it looked and stuff really got people looking at him. So while there was a sequel in 2014, this new series is expected to be actually a prequel. So maybe it's young Leonidas, I mean, it worked for Sheldon Cooper, right? There's an interesting rumor going around about Avengers 5, which originally, of course, was called Avengers Kang Dynasty, but is reported to have maybe changed the name. Some people say it hasn't. We'll see. Kevin Feige, he's the type that really likes to stick to something, but we'll see. Now, it's being said that it's going to begin pre-production either late June this month or early July, with actual filming beginning in December or January. Now, this makes a lot of sense timing-wise because it's, August is D23, and there's probably going to be a lot of announcements that go along with this moving forward for the fact that, A, it doesn't have a director. And at least in my knowledge, directors seem kind of important for movies. Now, we do know that Michael Waldron from Loki, he was brought in to write the script back in November of last year, which was around the same time that Destin Daniel Cretton exited the film. Now, he left because he wanted to focus on his other MCU-related projects like Wonder Man and Shang-Chi 2. But if this all the time is true, then we can expect to have... I'm expecting a new director to be named by D23 at the latest. And the Avengers is big for Marvel, and they need it to hit. So I expect D23 will have the news that about Avengers 5. It will clarify the title, whether it's still Kang Dynasty or if it's going to be something else. And I don't think Marvel's going to give up on Kang. We'll probably get a new Kang actor then as well. because I still think he's going to be the major villain of the multiverse saga. But we'll see at D23 in August. All right, moving on. After a abysmal May at the box office, which included one of the lowest Memorial Day weekends in years, it's not just the studios that are disappointed. Dune director Denis Villeneuve is honored and saddened that his film Dune Part 2 is still the #1 film of the year. Now, he was in Toronto to get a Academy Icon Award, and he told a reporter, he said, I hope that there will be other successes at the box office. I hope sooner or later that this summer box office will be much better. You see, Dune Part 2 released all the way back in March 1st, and it grossed $711 million worldwide, which is still the top movie for 2024. The second place, it's Godzilla X Kong. I don't know if that's versus or just Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, which was $567 million. Now, Villeneuve went on to say, I think we need movies that are theatrical experiences that will fully embrace the power of the theater. And I'm not just talking about Dune 2. Of course, I'm talking about many movies. A movie like Civil War, for instance, is a strong example of a movie that absolutely used the power of theater. I was lucky that Part 2 did reach the audience. I wish it would happen more often, honestly. Now, current box office numbers are down about 66% from last year. And you can attribute that to a lot of a change in viewing habits for audiences, but you've also got to look at the fact that we're in a year that has no Marvel Studio releases, and we're gonna get Deadpool, but so far no Marvel Studio releases. I don't think there's any DC Studio releases this year. We're gonna get the Sony Marvel stuff, but there just really aren't the normal tentpoles. 4 Marvel Studios movies a year was really kind of holding up the film industry in a lot of ways. So hopefully Marvel's going to get back to it, and DC will get out there and put some big ones out too, and it'll start lifting it back up. But the days of people just going to the theaters because they want to go to the theaters are definitely over. All right, after announcing that the studio would be expanding on its Predator universe earlier this year, 20th Century and Dan Trachtenberg's next standalone pick, Badlands, looks to be gaining momentum with some pretty decent star power. Sources are telling Deadline that Ellie Fanning is in negotiations to star in the film, with Trachtenberg directing and co-writing the script with Patrick Asen. Now, again, like all these things, we don't know any plot details, but this is going to feature the favorite extraterrestrial big game bounty hunter. Is also not known about release plans of the film at this point. Will it go just strictly to Hulu like the last one, or will it actually get into theaters? We will have to wait and see on that. But a new Predator film is starting to build up some steam. Now, switching back over to Marvel and some of their upcoming stuff. While everyone is talking about Harrison Ford joining the cast of Captain America: Brave New World, and also this guy Giancarlo Esposito, who's been popping up during reshoots now, one of the stars kind of flying under the radar is Rosa Salazar, who, well, her role has not been officially announced, but certain set photos and toy releases, it's kind of clear who the Alita Battle Angel star is probably going to play. Now, the actress has been seen on set wearing a long pink wig. Now, or maybe she dyed her hair pink, but it's long pink hair. You match that up with this Happy Meal promotion photo that everybody leaked going, oh, this confirms this character's appearance. Very few people were talking about the fact that one of the toys was for a character named Diamondback. Now, Diamondback was a pink-haired love interest of Captain America's back when Mark Grunwald and Paul Neary were doing the books in 1985. She first appeared in Cap 310. And she was a member of the Serpent Society. Her name was Rachel Leyden, and she came into conflict with Cap only to kind of end up falling for the big lug. and eventually kind of switched sides and started helping him, especially during this blood hunt. Remember the Bloodstone? Well, there is a hunt for the Bloodstone in the comics, and she got involved with that with Cap, and she eventually became an agent of Shield. Was that around? But I think later in the comics, she ended up switching back to being a criminal. But it's interesting to me because when I first saw the picture of Giancarlo Esposito on the set of Captain America, my first thought was, he looks like Machete, which is this little known villain from Captain America who was around. He was kind of a cohort or a follower of Batroc, the Leaper, and he had a bunch of knives and stuff. Well, one of the comic series that Machete was a part of with Batroc and Zarin and Baron Zemo was Blood Hunt. So maybe, I don't know. We're still trying to figure it out. For all I know, Esposito could be playing the true power broker, and that Sharon Carter's working for him. We will have to see. All right, moving on. Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson is collecting MCU actors. We did the news the other day and said that Jeremy Renner had joined the cast, which pretty much meant he was probably going to be the killer. Glenn Close is in it. He's already had Dave Bautista, Jessica Henwick, Ed Norton, and Chris Evans. So all of them have been in his Knives Out movies. Well, he's just added one more. This is a big one. This is Josh Brolin, coming off of Dune Part 2. And of course, Thanos in the MCU is now in Knives Out, the new Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man. Now, we don't know what his role is, but we don't know what anybody's role is at this point. But, Daniel Craig is coming back, and he's going to be in the film as Benoit Blanc, along with Josh O'Connor, Kaylee Spaney, Andrew Scott, Kerry Washington, as I said, Glenn Close, Jeremy Renner, Mila Kunis, and Daryl McCormick. So that's going to be a pretty big cast, but that's what Ryan Johnson does. So every time I see Rian Johnson, Kyle's voice pops in my head going, "That's not how you spell Ryan." All right, guys, that is the news. Stick around later today. We've got Minute to Skim It with Kyle, Jay, and Miss Jen. We've got Kicking It with Henri late at night, but the new Papa is returning. James is back with a new episode of Mint Hunter, so tune in for that. I hope you guys all have a great day, and we'll see you later.